Good morning, everybody. It's Elizabeth, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Ontario, Canada. Welcome to Canada. Today, I'm going to be playing with the Quiet Meadow Bundle and the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. I just had to get up and close the window because my neighbor decided it was time to cut the grass. So, thumbs up if you can hear me and see me okay. I have a new laptop, so I don't have to use a headset anymore, I don't think, because my fan's not going to uh, overheat, I hope, anyhow. So this is the bundle we're going to be playing with, and I hope I'm live. Yeah, I think I am. There I am. Okay, so this is the Quiet Meadow Bundle, and we are also going to pair it with the Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder. So we're going to be using the embossing folder, the Quiet Meadow stamp set, and we're going to be using this image, probably my favorite image in the whole catalog. I love the weathered look. And we're going to be using this sort of grunge stamp as well. And we're going to be using this stamp and this stamp on the envelope. We're going to be using this stamp, and we're going to also be using You're Too Kind. My goal this year is to try and use up as many stamps in a set as I can. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the cards. So I always admired cards that were made by our friends in Europe and South Pacific. And I realized it's because their cards are taller and skinnier. So I've created the card for the South Pacific or metric, and this is the card for imperial. So you can see the difference in the two cards. I will put all the measurements in the description when I'm done. I did change up the squares on this one so that they're more rectangle because it didn't look right with this. So let's get started and let's get stamping. Okay, and the die set that we're going to be using is the Meadow dies. We're going to be using the label, and I changed it up. We're going to be using this gold, and we're going to be using, this floral in the gold foil, and we're going to be using this butterfly in the gold foil as well. Alrighty, let's get started then. Okay, so here is my card, and it is standard base 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Yay, somebody can hear me. Excellent, thank you very much. And in metric, it's 14.9 by 21, scored at 10.5. We need a piece of this, and that's in mint macaron. We need another piece of mint macaron that is 4 by 5 1/4, or 14.4 by 10 for our imperial friends. We need a piece of Whisper White that is the same size, which is 4 by 5 1/4 or 14.4 by 10, and that's going to be for the inside. And I've already die cut and stamped. Hello everybody. I can't see names, but thanks for joining in. Let's see who's there. Oh, it's Barb and Shirley and Terry. Thank you, and Nicole. Thanks everyone for watching. So I've already die cut the label dies, thinking of you, and I've already stamped it. And I'm going to be honest with you because I could never get it straight, so I stamped it ahead of time. So for the squares for imperial, they are Evening Evergreen is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, or 3.8 by 5.0 for our metric friends. And the DSP is 1 5/8 and 1 5/8, or 3.5 by 4.7 for imperial. And I've already die cut out the little butterfly in the foil as well. And, oh, there it is. And I've die cut out that die piece in the foil, in the gold foil. I'm changing it up. In this one, I used that element, but when I was done, I thought I liked this one better. So we're going to change it up. Good morning. Well, it's morning here. I don't know what time it is for everybody else. Okay, so let's get started, and easy peasy. We are going to mount the squares onto the cardstock, and I just realized I think I must have tossed out one of the pieces of cardstock because I only have 2 on my desk. And we're going to do it so that there's matte all the sides. And I love this paper because we've got the foiling. You can see the gold foil, and it shows off the paper perfectly. This is gorgeous paper. You can use whatever pattern you want on the paper for the card. You don't have to use this one. I just love this one. This paper, unfortunately, folks, is not on sale. But let me just see if I am missing. Yep, I'm missing one of the pieces of cardstock. So give me 1 second, because I think we all had issues today of some type. I swear, folks, I did cut it out, but I just don't know where it went. In my quest to clean up, I probably tossed it. So what was this size I said? 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. 1 3/4 and 1 3/4. I'll mention to you that I took the scoring blade off of my paper trimmer because I use the scoreboard, so I don't have to I don't get mixed up. Well, that wasn't very good, but it will do. Like Carol had said, it was a beautiful day for them. It's a beautiful day here too, but I thought for sure that it was supposed to rain. Love the colors with the gold. Yeah, I do too. I thought for sure it was supposed to rain today, but we've had enough rain for the last little while. I didn't do a very good job cutting that, but you get the idea, right? Okay, so let's get into some stamping. As I'd mentioned, my quest is to try and use as many stamps in the set as possible. So I'm going to start off with this sort of grunge stamp and the mint macaron. Hello! Oh, it's Sandra and Ellen's watching. Oh my goodness, thank you everybody. It's 11:30 here in Eastern time zone. So I'm just doing some random stamping. I'm going to be running this through the embossing folder, so it's going to mute, I don't know if that's the word, but some of the stamping. And now I'm going to take my favorite stamp set, which is this sort of watermark, or sort of water effect look of the words, and I'm just going to randomly stamp down like that, down the side. It doesn't look very pretty right now, folks, but I promise you it will be. Okay. Now let me bring up the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm going to be bringing out the embossing folder. And as you know, there's this line here at the bottom, and it is going to, we're going to line up the edge of the cardstock so that I have it straight, like that. Okay, and because this is 3D embossing folder, we just need plate 1. And then we need our embossing folder and then plate 4. And I'm going to run that through. I usually like to do all this stuff ahead of time, but I thought it was important that you all see the process of how to use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, especially when you've got a 3D embossing folder. Easy peasy. And see what I mean? It sort of, when you emboss it, it takes a little bit of the sharpness down from the stamping. And now we're going to adhere this to here. You've got 2 choices. You can use your Tombow glue or any of your adhesive of choice, but I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus, but the tip here is to make sure you get it along all the lines, because this is sort of like a weave type of embossing folder. If you don't get it on the edges and really burnish it onto the front of the card, you're going to get little pockets on the card. So if you're, because sometimes I'm not very handy with the Tombow glue, I got to be honest with you. Oh, come on, it's got stuck. I'm not very handy with the Tombow glue. Let me just turn this over. It's picked up some of the paper. There we go. That I would end up with a mess all over the place. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Okay, and we are going to mount this on the front. Okay, and make sure you burnish those edges, because if you don't, you'll see you'll get like a little pockets like that. So just make sure you really rub it down and get it sealed all the edges, especially with this embossing folder. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is, I got to bring this card up here for a sample. We've got the 3 pieces that I have mounted, and these are going to get popped up. And right now I'm going to dry fit them like this, how I want them. And I'm going to show you on the metric card. If I were to, this is the metric card, if I were to do it, you'll see it really kind of doesn't look great because it's longer and shorter. So I will put the measurements in my description when I'm done on these measurements, so they're longer and narrower so that it fills up more of the card. So I hope that makes sense to you all. It's a good visual when you see a metric card beside an imperial card, because it shows you the difference of their cards. Like I'm in awe of some of our European demonstrators, and I always wonder why their cards look so different. And I do think that part of it is their cards are taller and skinnier, and their envelopes are different size, obviously. So I'm putting dimensionals on all 4 corners. Okay. And if I wasn't wearing my pajama bottoms, I'd stand up and measure these, but I'm going to eyeball them. Truth be known, right, folks? Okay, so that's good. I'm not sure who said great that you did a metric and imperial. I do that because I want to make sure that I've got the measurements right, if truth be known. And I'm an eyeballer, so I'm eyeballing this. So who knows, maybe one of my European demonstrator friends, or metric friends, demonstrator friends, will get the card in the mail. I just have to fussy up an envelope to send it. Oops. Okay. All right. And now I always wear, I'm being very brave today right now because I'm wearing a white top, but I usually stamp in my pajamas, if truth be known. So what I'm going to do here is, this is going to be flush here, but here I'm going to put a dimensional, and I really have to make a thin dimensional. So we've got like a wide piece here, so I'm going to make sure I put a baby dimensional there, and that's going to catch the bottom. And I'm going to put a really thin piece, really thin piece like that at the bottom here, to try and secure that down without it showing over the top, without showing on the top of the card. And I've just put, there we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, oh, I need a little dimensional right here. Whoops, where did that go? Right here, I need a little dimensional. Dry fit it and see where it's going to touch and where it may need support. That's like that, but that dimensional is too big. So I'm going to trim it down just a titch. That's a technical term. If you don't know, just a titch. Okay, so it's going to go on like that. And now I'm going to use my Tombow glue, and I'm going to do dot, dot, dot. Ooh, I primed my Tombow glue, just maybe a little too much. Too much came out. Oh, you know, I have to tell you, I had a really hard time cutting up this DSP. I had said through my catalog walkthrough that when I had ordered it originally, that there are a few pieces, I'm just taking off extra glue, there are a few pieces that all you have to do, I think, is frame it, and it would look beautiful, because some of the paper is gorgeous. But And I don't know if I mentioned this before, but unfortunately, this is not part of the sale. It's one of the specialty papers. And I'm going to put just a little titch of glue right there, like that, so I can catch that edge there. So there we go. See, I liked this leaf better than the other. They both look nice, but I do like this one better on this card. Okay, so now we need the butterfly, and let me put the sentiment first, because you know I showed them to you, so you know they're there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sentiment like this. So I'm going to put a dimensional on this side and then some adhesive on this side. Here we go, dimensional on this side, and then a little bit of adhesive on this side, like that. Oh, stunning. Oh, thank you. Okay, like that. I have to tell you that I have a, so do you ever get into a funk, like a creative funk? So I do, and I do often, and I know we all have stashes of cards at home that we hold on to because we love them for one reason or another. And I know I get cards from customers, demonstrator friends, and if I love it, I hold on to it. So if ever I'm in a creative funk, I go back to those cards that I've held on to, because I know I've held on to them for a reason. And I recreate them with product I have on hand. And, you know, it usually works out. Okay, so that's the front of the card. Now we have to do the inside of the card. And I have done this before, so thinking of you, but the sentiment, heartfelt love and caring thoughts are with you. You can use that as is, but I do this all the time. I just want heartfelt love. I don't want the rest of it. So I am going to mask off the bottom part of it. And again, I'm going to use the Evening Evergreen. Whoa. Oh, yep, look at that. Let me flip that over and wipe them on my pajama bottoms, my finger on my pajama bottoms. And now I'm going to, I inked up heartfelt, and I'm throwing that Post-it note away, because if I don't, you know what's going to happen. And let me just get my head in there. There we go, heartfelt love. And then I'm going to take the mint macaron, because I want to use up as many stamps as I can. And I'm going to take this large flower, and I'm just going to stamp it like that. And then I am going to take my envelope, because you know Carol said no naked envelopes. And again, I'm going to use the mint macaron, and I'm going to use this flower, and I'm just going to stamp it on the bottom like that. So I think I did pretty good for using up as many stamps as I could. If I really wanted to, I probably could have used those two stamps on this card as part of the grunging of it, or whatever you called, and then all that would have been left would have been the love and you're too kind. So I think I did pretty good for using up as many stamps as I could on that one card. And now we are going to and just mount this on the inside, and like that. Da, 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 da. And I am finished. So there's the card. And again, here is the metric version with the squares or the rectangles, just a little bit different size. Oh, and on this, oh, look at this. I actually put all the stamping on this side, and on here I put on that side. So really, if you're going to do this, if you're going to case the card, put the stamping on the right-hand side. There we go. So that is it for me. And I thank you for joining in. And up next is Joy Nelson with Flowers of Friendship and Hand Penned. And thank you for joining in. And I can't believe that Joy is the last one up today. But we had fun watching all the videos last night, and you know that they're all there for you to go and watch again at your leisure. And thanks for joining in. And please contact the demonstrator that invited you to this event if you would like to place an order. They can give you all the information that you need. And also, contact your demonstrator that invited you here, because next month the mini catalog and celebration will be going live. So make sure you get your hands on those catalogs. Take care, have a good one, and we'll see you next time.